What's up, everyone? Thank you for watching again. This video is going to be about what it's like being in therapy as a black woman, being in therapy, being black, period, and how you can go about finding a therapist for yourself or deciding if it's right for you. So let's jump straight into this because I want to keep it short and cute. I decided to start seeing a therapist about 2 months ago. I was, really kind of starting to see that I was the problem. I feel like I was dealing with depression for about 8 years, and it started with a really bad situation that I went through, and it just kind of spiraled out of control from there. And it kind of first started with like the negative thoughts, then it moved on to like the subconscious, like self comparisons to other people and talking down on myself, like in my own head. And then it went to like, it escalated, I'll say, to like suicidal thoughts, and it escalated from there to panic attacks, and it was just becoming too much. And I realized that I was ruining a lot of relationships, friendships, like romantic relationships, even like relationships with my family members were being kind of torn apart, and it was my fault. And so I made the decision to see a therapist. When I made the decision, I went through my job first. A lot of people don't know that there are avenues at your job, things called employee assistance programs, where your job will actually cover up to 5 sessions. Now, for my job specifically, they cover up to 5 sessions, and then anyone in your household, it could be a sibling, a family member, a roommate, it doesn't matter. They will cover 5 free sessions for them as well. It doesn't come out of your paycheck one day. It doesn't, have to be covered later in life if you quit that company. They really do care about your mental well-being. And so for my therapist, unfortunately, the one that I found wasn't in the network. And how I found her was I knew that I wanted a female therapist, and I knew that I wanted a black therapist, because some of the issues that I really, really sat down and thought about were, I felt that came out of like a black childhood, a black family, like things that I feel like a white woman wouldn't understand or a white male wouldn't understand. And I felt like it would be easier for me to open up to someone that looked like me. So I did my research on therapists. There's even which I'll go over later, there's some websites to find black therapists and black female therapists in your area. And I wasn't really sure what to expect. I didn't know if it was going to be like how you go on TV and, people sit down on a couch and they're like, tell me your feelings and why do you think you feel that way? So I really was not sure. I was so nervous when I pulled up into that first appointment. I was like, God, she's gonna judge me. She's gonna ask me a million questions. Like, it's gonna be like, so just like I wasn't ready for it. But I went through it and I went to my first appointment, and it was incredible. And even from that first appointment, we started getting somewhere. It wasn't at all like what I thought it was going to be in the movies. It was more like, tell me about yourself, and, what do you feel like are your flaws and what do you feel like are your weaknesses? And, she gave me homework, and she's like, well, when you get home, write down things that you feel like you want to work on, and things like, where do you want to be in life, and what do you see out of your relationship? And we really started to get somewhere, and I just felt so like brand new. I feel like when dealing with therapy or mental health in general in the black community, people like look down on you, or I don't even think it's the black community in general. Like in life, you say you need to see a therapist, and people are like, oh, well, what's wrong with you? Like, what do you have to be sad about? Or why are you got all this and this? Why are you feeling that way? And it's like, because life is hard and I want to talk to somebody about it, and I don't want to harbor my feelings and feel angry and sad, and I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I'm 23. I want to live life like a 23-year-old. I don't want to be in a mood and not want to talk to anybody and not want to just be a part of life anymore. Like, I want to be active and aware and alert of my life. Like, I want to be in control, okay? So I wasn't really worried about what other people would say, but I was cautious about what my family would think. And the first person I told was my mom. Now, when I was growing up and I was going through my depression, she used to say, like, oh, you know, like, what are you sad for? Like, why do you have to be sad? What's causing this? Like, she always thought that there was like a definite thing, like something specific that was causing me to be sad and have panic attacks. But I was like, I don't know what it is. Like, I woke up crying. I had nothing. I didn't have a bad dream. Like, I just woke up this way. And so, you know, when I first told my mom, she was like, good. So hopefully somebody can help you get to what the root of all this is. And for her to be so supportive meant a lot to me, you know. And then I told my baby sister, who I'm like super duper close with, shout out to Unisage. I told her that I was in therapy, and she, you know, was super supportive for me. And all my friends were super just supportive. Like, I was just overwhelmed by feeling great for my first session, and then having all these supportive people like be like, yes girl, get your mental health together. Like, it was just the greatest feeling in the world. So I feel like if you are feeling any kind of way, if you feel anxious, if you have anxiety, if you just feel like you're in moods all the time, like if you feel like you're depressed, it can be anything. It's okay to see a therapist. They're not going to judge you like you think. It's not like in the movies. You have every right to take control of your mental health. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. You have every right to want to get yourself together. And I feel like that's the most adult decision we can make. You know, paying bills is easy, going to work is easy, like, but taking the step on your own to want to get your mental health together is such a big deal to me. And I really want to help anybody that I can, or want to help get somebody in that direction the best way that I can. And again, it doesn't always cost, like, I pay $100 and I see her every 2 weeks. That's it, for an hour session. There are therapists that charge $50, or therapists that charge $40. You just have to do the research. It's not like $400, $500 an hour. The best thing I can say is, before you go to your first session, or before you start looking at your therapist or mental health counselor, decide what you want to do. You know, do you want to just go to vent? Do you want to go to get to the root of a problem? Do you want to go to just figure out why you're depressed? Do you want to go to hope to get some medication, like to get undepressed? I'm not for medication personally, because I feel like there's plenty of drugs in the world, and doping yourself up isn't a way to get to the root of a problem. I feel like it just kind of puts a band-aid on it and be like, all right, we'll come back to that later. But for example, my therapist is a mental health counselor. She's not a psychologist, she's not a psychiatrist. So she can't prescribe meds, but she can prescribe homework, which does help. And I appreciate her so much for that. So let's talk about how to find a therapist for you. There are some websites you can go to, and I will put them up somewhere on the screen. And you can Google, like, Therapy for Black Girls is a good website to go to. Black Therapist, or it's like Psychology Today / like Black Therapists. Or you can Google your city. Like, I live in South Tampa, so I just put South Tampa therapy, or South Tampa mental health counselors. Mental health counselors probably are going to be a little bit cheaper than like a psychologist, because they don't do, I don't really know why they charge you less, but I think it's because they don't prescribe medicine, which, like I said, I didn't want medication in the first place. I mean, I feel like I've been getting somewhere without medication. So yeah, look up your city and type in like St. Louis therapy, or like Colorado or Denver therapy, or whatever. There's a ton of websites. Read the reviews. Always read reviews, because it's worth it. And make sure you go through your job and ask if they have employee assistance for mental health counseling. You don't have to, everything you do is 100% confidential. So even if I would have went through the free route with my job, they can't tell my job like, oh, she's having suicidal thoughts. They can't do that. Everything is still 100% confidential. So try your job. They have, if your job does have like an employee assistance program, they usually have a list of therapists in your area, so they can help narrow down, and they can help figure out who or where, if you want to limit it down. So they Like, for example, when I called my jobs, they were like, well, do you want a female or male? Do you want an African American, Caucasian, Asian? Like, what do what are you looking for? And they didn't have any African American therapists in their network, so that's why I decided to go out of network. But overall, I want to say that the options are there and you should not be afraid. If you ever need somebody to talk to or to ask, if you're curious about finding a therapist or you need help, I'm so 100% here for that. Feel free to DM me or email me, text me, whatever you want. I'm so here for Black people and getting their mental health because I feel like just our community in general like laughs at mental health or people want to get themselves together. We parents take you being depressed as you're ungrateful for all that they've done for you, or that something's wrong. Like, yes, something's wrong, but it's not wrong to want to fix it. So definitely take your mental health serious, and thank you for watching again. Stay sweet.